people, welcome to You Know The Score. It's your boy Shingy. I've got my boy Luther, Arsenal fan. Obviously not a very happy Arsenal fan. Before you do anything anyway, make sure you like, share, subscribe to the channel. Takes 2 seconds, so you know what to do. Just click that subscribe button, show some support. But yeah, man, what's good, Luther? You right?
Yeah, can't complain, mate. Can't complain.
Out
of lockdown next week, so yeah.
Couple cheeky tequilas on the way.
Yeah, Jesus, mate. Couple.
What about 6?
Especially what we're about to talk about as well. I might even have some after this.
Well, yeah, man, I got you here to talk about Arsenal. It's a shame Aaron can't be here because it would have been good to get a second point of view. But yeah, man, yesterday, underwhelming draw for you guys. I mean, a lot of Arsenal fans are very upset about the performance. I mean, you know, what would you say about that performance yesterday? Was you happy with the point considering the circumstances, or was it a damn squib?
Mate, where do I even begin? Like, it just highlights everything that I've said before, where, you know, I was saying that I don't believe Arteta is the right man for the job. As much as he's come in and he's shown a lot of promise, like, yes, he's made us harder to beat. And, you know, once upon a time, we would have probably lost that game by a bit as well, would have been well beaten. So to still come out with a draw, despite obviously Pepe moment of stupidity, you know, costing us what could have been, you know, a chance to win the game. I still feel like Arteta is not the guy to lead us to any sort of glory that a lot of people hope for. And yesterday's performance basically proved that. Like,
because even finally played.
Even with 11 men, yeah, it was crap, and it was a decent lineup as well. Like when you actually think about it, the team that we played yesterday was pretty much our best team that we had the season beforehand, like last season, albeit Willian. But yeah, pretty much when you look at the team, that's probably the strongest squad or one of the strongest squads that we can field, and yet didn't show no promise whatsoever. Like we finally saw what we always wanted to see, and that's Aubameyang playing up front. And unfortunately, you know, if he hasn't got service, he's not the guy to do it on his own. And I've said this so many times, our front three, Lacazette, Aubameyang, Willian or Pepe, when they play, if they haven't got service, they're not the type of players on their own to win the game. They need service. And for as long as we don't give them that service, we can never expect to have a chance of winning the game. And you know, look what happened.
Yeah, I mean, this stat here tells its own story about the service. So we were saying off air about, you know, the amount of passes that were given in to Aubameyang, and the most were made by your goalkeeper Leno. He made 5 passes, and he also made
people doing the pitch.
He also made the most amount of attempted passes to Aubameyang, which was 40.
What are these midfielders doing? And this is what I don't understand. And this is what I really don't understand. I don't understand how people can literally still, like, when they watch this and they hear that stat, if people still feel like Arteta's the guy to take us forward, then I actually don't know. Like I said, one thing that I'll definitely take away from how Arteta's imposed himself in our Arsenal squad is he's made us harder to beat. We're a lot more reassuring than we have been in the past, and we probably have been in a very long time, which is amazing to see, because at the end of the day, we had our back doors open like no tomorrow. You know what I mean? Like, even on the windiest day, we'd literally have all the windows open, all the doors in the house open. You know, we're letting anything in. Whereas now, like I said, we're a lot more defensively better, which is great. But again, unfortunately, it's come at the expense of our attack. And I don't know what system, I don't know what philosophy he brings to the table. But it's been half a season now in terms of the amount of time that he's been at Arsenal to manage, even though this will be his first season. I can't see anything. I don't see anything. At least with Emery, before he started smoking hash, there was some attacking sense. There was. For a second, I thought the old Arsenal coming back.
Like, well, if you go back to the Leicester game where Ozil was
amazing. Even a Tottenham game when we didn't have Ozil, that was probably one of the first times that I thought, wow, we can actually play football without Ozil. And those two performances alone are still, for me, one of the top 10 best Arsenal performances I've ever seen. Now, can I say the same for Arteta?
Yeah.
There's as much as we've had a lot of good results under Arteta. There is not one performance I can actually sit here and say to you, Shingy, hands down, this is probably the best I've ever seen Arsenal play. None, apart from maybe a little bit when we beat you guys, to which you obviously haven't done a show since, which is quite the coincidence.
I mean, that was an embarrassing loss. I mean, I'll
just sneak that one in there.
Yeah, it was, man. I mean, for us to lose our 14-year record in the league against that particular team.
And even then, like, it was nothing. It was nothing from like me saying like we did deserve to win, but I wouldn't go as far as saying, like, again, if next season comes round, or if you came to the Emirates, you guys wouldn't basically be able to also beat us at home as well. So nothing. I feel like none of these performances are reassuring or giving me any sort of assurance, if anything, to make me feel like, Arteta's the guy that's gonna really. He's the manager that we've been waiting for.
Yeah, I think that's what you've only got one win in 7 games. Is that correct?
I don't even know that.
Yeah,
I just feel like we haven't won. I don't know if we've actually won since that United game.
No, I think you won the game before the break. Was that? Yeah, no, it was against us. The last, I think was it? Yeah, I think that was the last game.
Yeah.
Damn.
Yeah. Says a lot.
Yeah.
And people will still sit there and be like, no, he knows what he's doing. No, like, not that he doesn't know what he's doing, but he obviously has a standard that he wants to impose with the Arsenal players, but we're not good enough.
Is Ozil not of that standard? Because obviously you keep on talking about creativity and lack of verve and ingenuity in the final third. Is Ozil not good enough? Because obviously Arteta's talking about standards. I mean, Ozil's not. He's not shit enough here to be out of your squad of 25.
Nowhere near. What you're telling me, the likes of, especially playing in midfield, and these are the players that have so far played in midfield: Saka, Maitland-Niles, Willock, El Neni, Celebos, Xhaka, Partey. Who else has been in there? Willian from time to time. Who?
Reece Nelson.
Nah, Nelson's usually played out on the wings.
Okay.
But for the fact that, for me, the main names that stand out, and I still can't believe they get a chance ahead of Ozil, is Maitland-Niles, Saka, and El Neni. For me, I don't understand how those three are better than Ozil, Guendouzi, and Torreira. I don't understand. And for me, I knew this guy was probably smoking the same stuff that Emery was when we let go Guendouzi and Torreira for no reason. There was actually no reason. Well, Guendouzi, I was hearing through the grapevine that it was his attitude, and apparently he was backing Ozil, and obviously Ozil's not in anyone's good books at the moment. So for the fact that Guendouzi was also, having his back, that also kind of pissed Arteta off even more, hence why he shipped. But equally, I feel like to now come back and say, we haven't got this creativity. Well, you let go some of your best players. Of course, you're not going to have creativity, and you didn't bring in no one as well. So for the fact that we got Partey, which is great, however, it's the standard. Obviously, the solution hasn't been solved, and for how long Arteta thinks he can just cruise and just have nice hair, look good on the sidelines and talk well. I don't know how long he thinks that can last for. Because to be honest, I'm not buying into it. And I may be the only Arsenal fan to say that, but personally, I'm not buying into it. Not buying into it at all.
So, I mean, is there a possibility that, Ozil can be recalled back into the squad then?
You know what? On paper, yes, I would like to think so, because even yesterday's game, it was screaming for an attacking player just to take hold of that midfield. Because even if you look at a lot of the chances that Leeds had, most of them chances came from our errors. Yes, they did play well, but the Leeds that came to the Emirates and played us off the park in the FA Cup the season before was nowhere near that same Leeds that came and played us yesterday, even though that was in their own ground as well. So that game was it got messy at one point because no one was really attacking. It was just like, we got a chance, we'll try to put it away. And don't get me wrong, obviously Leeds were very unfortunate to not take the 3 points. They hit the bar more times than I could actually remember, and hitting the post as well. But you would think a game like that yesterday, Ozil, more times than none, would have done something. So to recall him into the squad seems logical. However, with how he's been treated over the last couple of years, it would also seem quite silly. It would seem quite silly to bring him back, and I feel like it would, if anything, show the lack of I say control, but I mean the lack of presence that Arteta really has, or has made out to be in the squad. Because he's been very firm in not wanting to play him. He's been very firm about what he's want from him, and he showed it by not picking him into the team. And he's still standing by his words to say that it's a footballing reason to why he hasn't picked him. And for the fact that he hasn't actually even played him, I think the only time he played him was in the friendlies. Let alone when before lockdown. And even when we came out of lockdown, he didn't start a game. And that's when Arteta was kind of coming into the fold. So, who knows, man? Who knows? I would like to see Ozil back into the squad because he deserves it. I feel like a lot of the teammates also support him as well. He's got good friends. I feel like he brings a lot to the changing room, as well as just the atmosphere of the team. So to kind of see him out, it's a shame.
Gunners. But I mean, Arteta is not afraid to speak out about his players. I mean, and one player he's spoken about is Pepe, who, like you said earlier on, could have cost you the opportunity, well, kind of costed you the guys opportunities to get 3 points.
Yeah.
Now, he recently came out and said he would like to play more. I mean, does he have a leg to stand on? I mean, do you buy into his potential? Because I mean, 72 M's. Oh, Jesus Christ!
Yes, a lot of money. It's a lot of money, and I'm glad you actually asked me that question, because I feel like people are too quick to judge. And don't get me wrong, obviously Pepe hasn't necessarily proved himself or given himself a leg to stand on to justify the price tag, but also why he should be playing. However, I do feel like the criticism is a little bit harsh, only for the point, like what I said before. These players cannot do stuff on their own. They're not your Horneries. They're not the world-class players. They're not the finished articles yet. And they need service. So for as long as they can get service, you will definitely see a completely different type of team. And the players will flourish like no tomorrow. You look at Aubameyang's best season when he was banging in goals left, right, and centre. He was getting service. Even if it's just a pass forward, that difference was him scoring all the goals that he scored. Whereas now he's playing the exact same position. It's not like he's changed as well. And people forget that. Even when he was playing on the Emery, a lot of the times he was playing on the left, and he still managed to match Golden Boot. Last season, same thing again. And it's like he was playing on the left more times than none. So what's different now? Oh, because he signed a new contract? No, he's not getting service. And I feel like Pepe is the same kind of player. And because he expresses himself so much, you need to also have the structure to let him do what he needs to do. So then when he loses the ball, which he will do more times than none, we've got players in place to basically sweep up after him, to allow him to do what he wants to do. But when, Arteta has put in such a structured system that every single player, you can tell they have, it's almost like they're looking through
They're
goggles,
boxed
and the
in.
goggles just have the instructions of what they need to do. You know, I need to look left, look right, look up and down, look at him, and then pass. And you know, they can't make their own decisions, and you see it all the time. Like if I was to literally sit down and give you guys moments of the games where they could have played it forward and they see the pass, they take it back, play side to side, and they do it all the time. So for me, I feel like with Pepe, you know, going back to your question, I feel like he is quite hard done by. However, you know, it's things like this as well that don't help him. But I feel like he is a good player. I do feel like he can come in and definitely change the squad. I feel like he's something that the squad needed as well. Just someone that was just a bit daring, brings a lot of flair into the team as well. But like I said, if he's not getting service, you know, I don't think he has the ability to do it on his own just yet.
Okay. Now, with Arteta, I mean, you guys are not on a great run of form. You've got some tricky games coming up. You got Wolves at home on Saturday. And then you got obviously your North London rivals, Tottenham Hotspurs.
Top of the league.
Yeah, who are top of the league, which is not a pretty sight for you Arsenal fans, unfortunately.
Far from, mate, far from.
Yids, boy. But if Arteta doesn't get, you know, good results in those two games, do you think he's, you know, it could be time to start calling it a day?
You know what? To be honest with you, one thing he's done really well is, he's cemented himself. He cemented himself into the into the infrastructure. Like he is part of the furniture, as they say, and he's done that literally by coming across as if he knows what he's doing. One of the things that I keep hearing about Arteta with regards to his managerial skills is the fact that he sounds good. That's all I keep hearing. Pundits will say, "Oh yeah, the way he talks. Yeah, the way he talks.
He knows what he talks. Yeah,
he knows. He just looks like he knows what he's doing." And you know, and you know, English. They, you know, when you're in England, you need to speak English. You know, you need to speak it proper and whatnot. They emphasize on that quite a bit. So with a foreign manager coming into Arsenal and, you know, being the way he is, to everyone, he's ticking all the boxes already. So I don't feel like a few results going against him will affect his position because he's made the manager. And I was trying to explain to my friend how serious that is for the fact that he's come in 6 to 8 months later and he's now gone from coach to the manager. So now he is in charge of players coming in, coming out, contracts. He now, you know, it's not even now before where it's like, I think under Emery, I believe there were a few signings that we got and he didn't want. That's not happening with Arteta now.
Emery just had to coach.
He's just coaching the team that the hierarchies want to build. Yeah. Whereas with Arteta's now having a say in that just as much as them.
Yeah.
You know, and that's after 6 to 8 months. And of course, you know, one of my clients today, actually, he was saying that you got to look at the bigger picture. He brought us 2 trophies. And yeah, hands down, like at the end of the day, on paper, if you was to tell me 8 months, improve your squad, or 8 months, you win 2 trophies, I know which one I'm going to pick.
You count in the Community Shield as a trophy.
It's the thing. But again, you look at the cabinet, mate. Everyone's raving about Tottenham, but you look at the cabinet. We're the ones that got more trophies than them in the last year. So it's you know, and I hate to sound cliche and black and white to say it, and this is not a slight dig by any means, but it's the reality of it. At the end of the day, you got one person that brought in 2 trophies, and Emery couldn't. So again, he's done, and remember that came off the back of Emery's work. You know, Arteta didn't come in and start the season and we done well in the FA Cup. He came in halfway through. So for me, it's like, you know what, I'm going to start judging. I'm going to judge Arteta based off this season. I'm not going to look back and say, okay, we got 2 trophies. Yeah, we beat United, we beat Man City, we beat Liverpool. You know, I'm not going to look at that, you know, because for me, those games already in itself, those are like one-off games. We could play them 10 times. We won't beat them.
Yeah, for real. That's interesting now, but we'll have to wait and see because a lot of obviously teams are kind of going through the motions right now. I mean, Man City, you know, they're stuttering. I was just speaking
Mate,
to
I just saw today Man City are 13th or 14th.
Yeah,
they're below us.
So they're struggling right now. You know, Chelsea were a bit inconsistent at the start, so there is a bit of time. You know, Man United were up and down, so you know there is still a bit of time to see where things pan out. But you know, who knows what's going to happen in the future. But yeah, Luth, thanks for joining me this evening. As per usual, where can they find you?
Sorry, I didn't hear that last bit that you said.
As per usual, where can they find you?
Oh, sorry. Yes, you guys can find me on Instagram, g.s.training. You can also find me on Twitter under the same handle, just be GS Training. And on Facebook as well, I have my own personal page on there, which is Gorilla Strength Training Limited. That's with LTB.
You know the score, boy. You know, if you want to build your muscle, hit up my guy. But
it's been more than happy to help, man. Help you build the strength to survive Arteta, man.
My guy. Guys, make sure you follow me as well, Shingy_LDN on Twitter and Instagram. Make sure you follow the channel YKTS Football on both Instagram and Twitter. And lastly, make sure you subscribe. It takes 2 seconds. You know what I mean? Support the channel. And yeah, I'll be back. It's been You Know the Score. We've been talking Arsenal, Arteta, and Ozil. And yeah, we're out, man. Lufa, bless.
Thank you, my man. Thank you.
My guy. Appreciate it.